Of the National Democratic Party, Josiah Aye, has indicated that with the current trends in the management of the country, the new Patriotic Party's presidential candidate for the 2016 election, Nana Addo, is the man for the job to turn around the fortunes of Ghana. He said this when he paid a courtesy call on the latter at his home a few hours ago.
Now, I think that it's clear to everybody that Ghana is at a critical stage. We are not saying that we are on the edge, but I think that our people have always been resilient. And we've got to show that resilience and muster that courage and energy to ensure that this time there is indeed a change. And we believe that we can have the sort of leadership that we need for that change. I wouldn't say that, well, this country is only being governed by the Westmen, but there's such a word as kakistocracy. And we are in danger of really falling into the pit of kakistocracy. And I think that, we are too level-headed, too broad-minded, too open-minded to allow these things to go on. And I believe that Ghanaians have learned. Each time we go through the electoral cycle, we do learn. And we bear the pain of those who we think ought to be there but ain't there. And this time around, we want to make sure that we stand shoulder to shoulder with yourselves and with all like-minded Ghanaians to ensure that Ghana deserves the best. Sometimes it's a nightmare that from which you're going to wake up one day to think that this is happening in our lifetime, in our generation, and we seem so feeble that we can't do anything about it. I think that what we can do is to identify the best for Ghana and work with the best for Ghana to ensure that there is change come election 2016. So that's a short, laconic message.
Danko Akufo-Addo, please by the visits intimated that Ghana needs collaboration and cooperation among the political parties to further deepen the country's democracy and development.
Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for your support. I think all of us are clear about something. We want, as much as possible, the best for this country. Yes, we believe that we have a country that has tremendous potential, and that we, for all of us, put our shoulders to the wheel in an honest and patriotic manner. We should be able to get a good result for Ghana in terms of the progress of our nation and satisfying the demands of our people for a better life. None of us are particularly happy about many of the things that are going on. The latest intervention that has to do with this matter of the pensions. It's something very, very, very worrying for all of us, especially for us in the party, because we were responsible for the legislation that is now in place, governing the whole pension structure. And to see the issues that have developed, the opaque manner in which these matters are being dealt with, workers very, very concerned about their entitlement and their dues. I think that these are and other issues are matters that all of us should be able to work together to make sure that we get a good deal for the people of our country. So your presence here is encouraging for me. I'm grateful for it. And
After the visit, however, Josiah Aye was quick to clarify that the NDP's flag bearer, Nana Rawlings, will still run in the presidential race come 2016.
I think that our politics needs to be necessarily adversarial and poisoned. There are many ways in which you can be conciliatory, approach each other and work together. We think that he offers a certain approach to Ghanaian politics, which to us is like a breath of fresh air. And it's something that we think should be embraced and included in the political discourse of this country. So we don't want to be out there and see things happen, be silent observers and witnesses whatever, but we think that we must show our faces, and we have come here and we've spoken to him. But of course, we are in competitive politics as well, and we are in a situation where we are prepared to work with anybody, whoever, provided we believe that that person has sufficient bona fides and goodwill towards the people of this country. That is it.
So does this in any way suggest that your leader, Nana Rawlings, for the time being, doesn't have any presidential ambitions anymore?
Well, certainly she has.
Particularly for the 2016 elections.
If we wanted to make a momentous statement as that, or a statement as momentous as that, we will certainly make it. We haven't made such a statement. Coming over approaching somebody, speaking to him that, well, we are here, we are friends. I mean, when you wake up in the morning, your neighbors, when you see them, you say hello. I mean, you don't have to have a frown on your face. But when people have a good heart, they have a good will, and you're working towards the interest of Ghana, I think that Dr. Agri talked about the necessity of playing both keys of the piano if you get a harmonious sound. But we believe that Ghana is a coat of many colors, and each of those colors is very important and essential to our well-being and prosperity as a nation. If we despise some and reject some, we say we're not going to work or talk to this or that, I don't think that Ghana would be able to play to its strengths.
But you are throwing your weight behind Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo today. 2016, is it a case that we may not see Nana Konadu Rawlings on the ballot sheet?
I've said to you categorically, emphatically, and I've stressed to you that Nana Konadu would be running for the presidency of this country. Our coming here to see some other political player or a political party does not mean.
But how do we reconcile the two statements? Josiah, as chair of the National Democratic Party, has joined me over the telephone to clarify the NDP stance. Thank you for joining us here, Josiah. Well, I think we have lost Josiah, but we have Deputy General Secretary for the National Democratic Congress over the telephone as well, Kofi Adams. Thank you very much for joining us here, Kofi.
Thank you.
Kofi, what do you make of this visit?
Of the visit? Hello?
Hello, Kofi. I'm asking.
Yes.
Yeah, what do you make of the outcome of this visit and you know, the things that were, statements that were made there?
Oh, nothing really to make out of it. It's not different from what we have heard in the past. It's the same thing that we've heard. So, seriously, I don't see anything out of it.
How does it rub the NDC, though, that the NDP is endorsing your biggest opponent, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo?
That's what I'm saying, not at all. In 2012, we saw Nana Addo bless himself with NDP support at their last rally. It didn't result in anything. It resulted in first round victory of the NDC and President Mahama. So we don't see any difference that the endorsement is going to do. It's the same thing. But we have known this for a very long time, so really it doesn't make any difference.
Very well. I'm just going to have you host the line a bit. The chairman of the NDP has joined our conversation. Josiah, you're welcome to the program. Hello, Josiah.
Yeah, I'm listening. I said thank you very much.
Very well. Now, how do we reconcile the two statements? The fact that the NDP is endorsed Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and on the other hand, it says, look, we will present a candidate come 2016.
Well, I think that there's no contradiction at all. Politics, of course, should not be adversarial nor bitter. You don't want to have relations between political parties and political blocs that create tension. On the other hand, if you have steps taken that are conciliatory in nature, you know, to soften the tension and calm things around, I think that's very good. If we go to Akufo-Addo's place and we make statements and gestures, that's just conciliation. That in no way implies that we're packing up business. We have business. We're going to run a candidate come election 2016.
But the difficulty is then understanding the capability of your candidate and understanding why you would endorse Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as the candidate or as the presidential material.
No. Then you totally misunderstood the import of what I said. He has thrown his hat in the ring as a candidate, and of course, one throws his hat, makes the gesture, takes the step, and you congratulate him for doing that.
And then you said,
and then affiliation to the NDP. We went there to congratulate him for being emerging out of an electoral process as the one to run for 2016. As I said, that in no way suggests or implies or should be taken to mean that we are, throwing our hat into the ring or we're surrendering and giving it. No, far from it. I made clear at that place also that we'll be running a candidate in 2016, and that candidate is likely to be Nana Konadu Rawlings.
Well, Josiah, instead of quoting you, I think we're just going to play back that soundbite so you can give us a bit more clarification. But
Well, it's subject to this because I'm in a car.
Absolutely.
And of course,
we'll come back to you.
The auditory reception is poor. So you play it back and I'll give you the information.
Very well. We'll come back to you briefly. Kofi Adams, I'm sure you know him, is Deputy General Secretary for the NDC. We went the conversation just before you joined us. Kofi, now, doesn't this also tell you that in the future, the NDC would have quite a competition if all of the opposition comes together as one?
Well, that's possible. It depends. I said there's a lot of mileage yet. And depends how things go, especially in the last quarter of 2016. If we look at the configuration of political forces, then we will decide which way to go. And that could be anybody. And we think that the most competent, the most decent person...
Right. Josiah, that question, though, was for Kofi.
We have always had competition and we have prevailed. In 1992, we had competition. In 1996, there was great alliance against us. We prevailed. In the year 2008, we saw other political parties join the NPP. We prevailed. In 2002, indeed, we saw executives of other political parties on the same platform campaigning for NPP. Still, we prevailed. So 2016, we are going to prevail.
I see. Kofi and Josiah, just hold your lines for a bit. Let's listen to that soundbite where, from our interpretation, the NDP seem to have been endorsing Nana Addo Akufo-Addo.
I think that our politics needs to be necessarily adversarial and poisoned. There are many ways in which you can be conciliatory, approach each other and work together. Now, I think that it's clear to everybody that Ghana is at a critical stage. We are not saying that we are on the edge, but I think that our people have always been resilient. And we've got to show that resilience and muster that courage and energy to ensure that this time there is indeed a change. And we believe that we can have the sort of leadership that we need.
So, Josiah, that was you back then. There was no mention of the NPP.
I could barely hear a word. So what he could do is probably to paraphrase for me and then I'll clarify.
You mentioned that we all know the times we live in, but we have been a resilient people. And it's time we moved on. And Nana Addo Dankwa, according to you, is the man to help us do that.
Well, if you say a man is a man to help us do it, it doesn't mean that you are endorsing or anointing that person. Of course, it's a joint effort. As we are resilient people, we think that it's a collective task. So if there's anybody out there who could help, who could contribute, then fine. It in no means or implies that you are endorsing that person as a sole candidate to be put forward. No. I think that you got to do me some favor because I've never implied or suggested or in any way imputed what you're attributing to me.
Of course, I mean, that's why we are having this conversation in the first place, just for the clarification. Should we look forward to a future of some sort of measure at some point in time between the NPP and the NDC, and the NDP, sorry?
Well, I don't know. As things stand now, I think that the internal dynamics of the NDC have made it impossible for us to, of course, have any sort of alliance with them. And if we think that in the interest of politics and out of necessity in regard to the interest of the people of this country, we need to ally with somebody. And it doesn't seem to me likely to be the NDC because the NDC on its own showing does not show any inclination at all to have any dealings with us.
I'm not sure I got that. If there was the tendency, you would align with the NDC, the National Democratic Congress.
Well, if there's a political party out there that's espousing decent politics and implement decent politics and having people with whom you can have relationships with, and we will not close our minds to that. We are an open-minded, broad-minded party. We would open our minds, open ourselves to them. But if there are people out there and the antecedents are such that already there's a sour background, rather than to help to improve that, nothing is being done to do that. Any time that you hear any new episode or any new event, that event tends to deepen the cleavage. It's not for anybody to say, well, things are cast in stone. If the NDC wants to change their attitude and approach towards us, well, we are open-handed.
I see. Kofi, does what Josiah said make you take it anyway?
We have always been a party that is open. Ideologically, we know what we stand for. We are a social democratic party, and we will remain so. If the NDP has an ideology that they feel they will not recognize that and would want to go and partner with another party that is completely opposed to what they represent, for me, I would see a difficulty in that situation. Look, we've had a situation in the past. When DFP, that was formed out from the NDC, we saw what happened. They came after us. Ultimately, they merged with the NDC. So I will not be surprised that tomorrow the NDP may in future be doing same.
On condition, though, that the NDC will change its ways.
We have remained the way we have been and will remain so. We are a social democratic party. We will continue to open our doors and our frontiers for people to come in. And they feel welcome at home. Let's not be very emotional about things. Let's base on the realities of the time. NDC remains a party that will go for the people, that will work for the people, because the people matter in everything that we do. And anybody who seriously will want to associate with us is welcome on board.
Very well.
Truth and integrity for us to carry on.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time here on News Today. Kofi Adams is Deputy General Secretary for the National Democratic Congress, while Josiah is Chairman for the National Democratic Party. The party that's just paid a courtesy call endorsing Nana Addo Akufo-Addo.